you're saying create memories and stuff like that. That's a memory I'll never forget, watching Nitro that night and seeing you retire with that emotional promo.
Well, a day before that, I had an episode of, was in the gym training, and I was still in the mindset that I was going to come back and wrestle. And still had a long way to go, I knew. But some little guy came up to me, just some acquaintance from the gym, not thinking, just came up, kind of smacked me between the shoulder blades and said, hey, Iron, where you been? I haven't seen you in a while. And a shock went through me. It was just, the only way I can explain it, it was like an electric shock went through my neck. And I had a water bottle in my hand, and it just fell out of my hand. And a little voice inside of me said, "You're done. Listen to this." And I just kind of looked around, and I don't really know how to explain it other than it felt like I was electrocuted, and I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt I was done. So it was a pretty emotional night, and I get to TV, and I told Eric, hey, I'm not coming back. I'm not going to be able to come back. It's not fixable. I wasn't specific with what had happened, but I just said, hey, can I get some time? And this is not going to be me building some angle for down the road and making some time for comeback. I said, I'm done. And it's pretty hard right now. And while I can get the goodbye out, I would like to go say goodbye to everybody and thank everybody. And because as far as being a wrestler, my career was over. And he was gracious enough to give me whatever time I thought I needed. Nothing was scripted. No one asked me what I was going to say. They basically just cut out 15 minutes and said, do your thing. And I think he trusted me that I would do the right thing. And that was not a promo. That was just me saying goodbye to my family, which is my wrestling family, which is an extended part of who we all are. If you're around more than a minute, you do realize that you spend your birthdays and you spend your anniversaries and all those special holidays you spend with your wrestling family. You're very rarely home to spend them with your family. And I just wanted to thank everybody because we happened to be in Horseman country that particular night. And I knew it would be received the right way because it was going to come from the heart. But by no means was it scripted. Did I even go through it in my head? I just said, go out and do what you've always done, talk to them, and don't talk at them, and just tell them what you want them to know. And that's what happened, and that's the way it came across, I think.
One of the best promos ever is totally unforgettable. The next week when the nWo does that thing, Nash always says that you were on board and you were okay with it. Was that something that was almost like, it's a little too personal, or were you okay with it? That's just the wrestling business.
Well, I didn't like it. No, I didn't. How could you? First of all, I had to find out if it was a personal attack, and I had that conversation with Nash, and I was assured it was not a personal attack. And not knowing how it was going to shake out, being the fact that I didn't like it, I thought it was in poor taste. I still was one of those guys that knew that if you could generate some heat, you could do your job, which was to put butts in seats. And if it was at my expense that we put some butts in seats, then I was gung-ho for it. I want to say that if I had one fault in the business, it was probably not saying no to a couple of things that throughout my career that I probably should have said no to, but I didn't know you could say no. And I always said yes, and I always tried to make everything the best it could be for the company and for the guy that was paying my salary. And this was no different in my eyes. Just this particular time, it had me as the centerpiece, or one of them. But hey, business is business. Life goes on. I don't think it defined who I was by any stretch of the imagination.